Hello, welcome to this severe weather update. So let's see what's happening in the US and parts of Canada. So today, in terms of severe weather, we have a marginal risk in Montana and North Dakota, marginal risk in Kansas and Oklahoma, parts of northern Texas, and a marginal risk in parts of Missouri, Nebraska, southwestern Iowa, Indiana, Illinois, and Michigan. So let's see some storms in Florida and some parts of the southwest. Tornado threat less than 2%, wind threat 5% in all those areas, and hail just 5% in 2 of the areas. So, isolated strong to severe storms possible during the late afternoon over parts of Midwest, including lower Michigan, Illinois, and Indiana. Isolated strong to severe storms also possible in parts of North Central Plains and Northern High Plains. So, be aware for today there. And for Canada, we have just a general risk of storms throughout parts of Alberta and Saskatchewan and Manitoba. Just some heavy rain at times, some small hail and some gusty winds. And in eastern Canada, some storms possible in Ontario, southern Ontario, and through central Ontario, even there into northwestern Ontario, Manitoba. Some small hail, gusty winds, and heavy rain too. So nothing crazy. And the model shows, let's see, it does show those showers and storms there in Alberta into northern Montana this afternoon, so be aware. Might be a severe storm or two, especially northern Montana. Into Saskatchewan, there's some stronger storms as well. More rain there, northern North Dakota into Manitoba. So let's see in the south, we have like those storms in Michigan, Indiana, like northern Indiana, lower Michigan, and from Missouri. Does show a storm or two there, like northern Arkansas too, but nothing that crazy. But just be aware. And we have some showers in New Mexico, some a storm or two there, and maybe a storm or two in the southwest, Nevada, parts of California and Arizona, but nothing crazy. We have some rain in the northeast because of a low pressure system there, and those storms throughout central Ontario there, and maybe lower Ontario too. So be aware. And this is the 12Z HER, so we'll check this for tomorrow's outlook, because for tomorrow we have a slight risk in New Mexico and Texas, and a marginal risk through Colorado, Texas, and New Mexico, a marginal in parts of Iowa, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Nebraska and Kansas, and another marginal in parts of the Northeast, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. So be aware, especially in New Mexico tomorrow. So let's see. Tornado threat is 2% in New Mexico and Texas, so might be a chance of a tornado or two. And wind 15% there and 5%, 15% in the other marginals too. And hail shows 15% and 5% as well. So let's see. Isolated severe storms possible Saturday afternoon to early evening in New Mexico and the southern high plains, and mid-Missouri Valley and upper Mississippi Valley, Central Appalachians region. So be aware there, all of those areas, especially in New Mexico. So in the HER here, does show the storms today there in Michigan and Indiana, those ones in Alberta, Montana, Saskatchewan. And then let's see, as we're going through tomorrow, the moisture continues in New Mexico, and then it does show some storms in Kansas earlier in the day and Missouri, so be aware into the early afternoon and late afternoon. And then it starts showing there in New Mexico later in the afternoon some more concentration of storms. Nothing that crazy, but it does show some very big storms there. Might have some heavy rain with that, especially gusty winds and a few tornadoes. So be aware, New Mexico into northern Texas, especially like Oklahoma Panhandle as well, and southern Colorado. So be aware. It does show another line of storms starting in Iowa tomorrow afternoon, like in Nebraska and Iowa. It shows getting a big line there, some intense winds probably into Wisconsin and other areas. So be aware, all those areas. Tomorrow is Saturday for Saturday, so let's see. In terms of rainfall, we have the map for today, the storms. Tomorrow some mixed precipitation in Colorado, some more storms there. And precipitation, this is Friday, shows the storms there throughout the Midwest into the rain New Mexico and other areas, and the rain up north there. And the storms in Florida, some afternoon storms, so be aware. Tomorrow, Saturday, does show the accumulation in Texas and New Mexico there, all the way into like Kansas and Iowa, Missouri, so be aware. Day 3 is more heavy rain parts of Missouri and Illinois, all the way into Canada and into Texas, rain too, and in other areas. For like Tuesday shows more in West Virginia, some areas there of the east as the cold front moves east, and still some there in the southwest. Let's see. Next Wednesday shows more in Texas, some more there, all the way up, and some more in the Gulf. Let's see. Thursday, let's see, next Thursday shows more build in the Gulf, so we have to watch that. Check the tropics video there for the latest updates, and then let's see, show more rain parts of central US, more in the northeast and other areas. This day 6. Day 7, next Friday, shows more there in Florida, the Gulf, and the northeast as well, and the northwest. So be aware. Excessive rain, margin risk in New Mexico and Texas today, California and Arizona and Nevada, so be aware. Southern Florida too. Tomorrow shows a bigger marginal from New Mexico to Iowa, so be aware of the heavy rain. And day 3 shows another marginal from Kansas to lower Michigan, so be aware. Sunday. Monday shows another marginal moving east there. Next Tuesday shows a margin in the northeast and again in Texas and New Mexico, so be aware there. So let's see, for Canada, we might have a big rainfall event on the coast there, British Columbia, shows more than 100 millimeters potentially in other areas there. So let's see here, like the models for that shows, because we have those systems on the Pacific there, also affecting Alaska and other areas, so that there's this system there now. It will blast some rain parts of lower Alaska and British Columbia Saturday, tomorrow, so a lot of rain there. Might be heavy in spots and might cause some problems, be careful. Then it keeps going, a lot of snow, northern British Columbia, into Yukon, so parts of Yukon, mainly high elevations, but might be more snow as well in other areas. Then the European model shows this other system approaching there about Sunday. So Sunday into next Monday shows a lot of heavy rain there through Alaska, Yukon, parts of British Columbia as well. And it kind of continues there. We might get a next system about next Thursday, the 26th or later. So be aware there. In terms of accumulations, like I showed you, until next Wednesday, the European model has more than 200 millimeters British Columbia. I think there's still Alaska there, so in lower Alaska, British Columbia, and further south there, so please be aware in those areas. And then the GFS has further south into British Columbia, the worst of it, like 300 millimeters, but this will update. Each model has a different. The icon has the same as the GFS almost, but the icon is like 400 millimeters. The icon is highly exaggerating, so, but you never know. Better be prepared. So like 200 millimeters near Alaska and not areas, so please be careful there with that rain. We'll check the snow in a second. So in terms of temperatures, we are still like hot in the south there, some areas of extreme heat risk and major heat risk through Oklahoma, Missouri and Arkansas, even Kansas and Texas, so be aware. Saturday still some major extreme heat risk. Next Monday, no, that's Saturday, so Sunday still some moderate heat risk. Monday still some moderate heat risk there. Tuesday mainly along the south. Wednesday some moderate in Florida. Next Thursday in the southwest and some moderate in Florida, so be aware. It's still like 101 max temperatures, 90s throughout the lower plains there, so be aware of the heat. So 90s and 80s in the southeast and some 90s parts of the southwest, so be aware. Tomorrow shows like some 60s in the north, some more 90s there as the max temperatures in the southwest as well, so be aware. Day 3, like Sunday, so shows like more 100, more like 70s in the north there, the max. Some 50s in the Rockies, it will be colder there. Some 90s in the south still. So day 3 maximum, so like that's day 2 minimum temperatures. So it shows like some 4 is up north, some like 4 is 3 is in the mountains there, so be aware. Let's see, day 5 max for Tuesday shows more 90s in the valleys of the southwest building, more 100s in Arizona, more 90s there in the southeast. Day 6 shows like still more 100s on the southwest, more 90s there. Day 7, let's see, next Thursday shows more 100s on the southwest, 70s and in other areas, so be aware. The 24-hour max wind gusts for today shows windier across the northeast because of that system, some higher surf too, be aware. Windier parts of the northern plains, the mountains and other areas, so be aware. And in terms of longer range wind gusts, shows like, wait, the European shows those gusty winds still there up north in Nunavut, like some high gusts because of the system today. Then it kind of moves out, but some gusts remain there. Then as the system goes into the coast, into British Columbia and Alaska, so like some 69 km/h gusts, like some 70 km/h gusts, so be careful there. In the south, tomorrow, because of the system in New Mexico and everything, shows some gusty winds in Colorado, New Mexico there, some higher gusts. Let's maybe see this here. In miles per hour, some 51 mile/h gusts, 44 miles/h gusts, so be aware. Then this keeps going, shows maybe some higher gusts in the Great Lakes Monday, but still a little far out to tell. And shows like higher gusts in Montana like next Monday too, still in British Columbia, some mountains there, so be aware. And in terms of hazards, we have the heat advisories there in the southern plains, Oklahoma, Texas, red flag warnings there in Wyoming, and we have like some frost advisories, northern Montana, and freeze watch. First freeze watch there, northern Idaho and Washington. We have some coastal advisories there, some coastal flood advisories, and more stuff. Be aware. In Canada, we still have like some warnings in Nunavut and Manitoba. Manitoba mainly for rainfall, like Tahoe Lake, and Nunavut rainfall and wind must be those ones further north there. And Quebec, some wind warnings in like northern Quebec, so be aware. And they say up to 90 km/h in the afternoon, so be aware. And yeah, so let's see, in terms of snowfall, first like here in Canada, it shows like some models, especially like in the north there, because those systems, let's put this until next Wednesday, shows a lot of snow there, like some parts of Yukon, 221 centimeters, 12 centimeters, like especially between Alaska and Yukon, like those are high mountains of course, but shows like some 90 millimeters, 129 millimeters actually, 160 millimeters, so please be aware of the heavier snow, especially in the mountains. Through British Columbia too, some snow in the north, more snow there, some snow in the mountains of Alberta, British Columbia, but lower amounts. Colorado, it's showing like the European show like 14 centimeters, 10 centimeters, so more snow there tomorrow. This like let's see in inches, puts like some 3 inches of snow, some areas there, some 6 inches, so be aware. In the Rockies there, some in Utah, a little bit in Utah, even the Sierra Nevada, and through Wyoming there, so be aware. And in terms of like snowfall probabilities, it shows here from the National Weather Service, they have day 2 like Sunday, Saturday into Sunday, those high probabilities in Colorado there for the snowfall, so be aware. And let's see here, so this mainly it, But in the hazards here, like, let's see, I didn't show something here. So up there in Alaska, we have like a winter storm warning already there. So let's see what they say. Like, winter storm warning in effect. So yeah, be aware, snow will be moving to the area on Friday morning, continue Sunday morning for tapering off snow and light flurries. Heavy snow expected, total accumulations 6 to 12 inches of snow there. So be aware there, parts of Alaska. And let's just see some other stuff here, like maybe some snow accumulation there. Here like shows that snow in Alaska there, so be aware. In terms of temperatures, in Canada we still have like those higher temperatures there in parts of Ontario and Quebec, so especially like some 27 degrees, so be aware. And some colder temperatures in the north there, so like be aware. And this continues. They might lower down a little bit, but still some warmer temperatures there. And this mainly it. So stay safe from the storms and everything. For temperatures there in Canada, it still shows like very cold there. -3, like -4, some -12 in the mountains of Alaska. Let's see, cold in the mountains of British Columbia and Alberta as well. So be aware, some 7 degrees outside the mountains at night. And then like way up north there are some spots like to -10 already, like a city called Eureka there has already gotten to -10. So be aware, like way up north. So let's see here. Some other eastern portions were cold too, northern Labrador and Quebec, but during the day still shows like hotter in western Quebec there, but still colder on the east and cold on the west, but a little less cold during the day. So yeah, be aware. And colder still there on the west, very cold across those areas, so be aware.